It started with sending food to space. So that is the origin of HACCP, where it was important that the food that went with the astronauts was safe.
Right.
So it started there, where what you do is you put every source of potential contamination, and then you do a risk evaluation.
How do you define safe food? What makes food safe?
So if we go down to the basic science, food has three kinds of hazards, you could say. So there is the physical hazard, the chemical hazard, and the microbial hazard. So as long as your food is free from these three hazards, it is considered safe.
So let me repeat that: microbial, chemical,
and physical.
And physical. Okay.
So these are the three types of hazards, and if your food is free of any of these, it's considered safe.
Okay.
It may not really be about nutrition. A lot of time people mix it up, saying, is it healthy?
Okay.
There is an angle of health to it. If you eat contaminated food, you could fall sick, could result in deaths.
Okay.
It's a very risk-prone product. Food is highly risky. So in that sense, it does deal with health, but it is not really about nutrition. So your product may be completely safe. It may not be nutritious, but that's a different story.
It may not be. It may have a lot of oil, trans fat, etc.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Exactly.
Understood.
It may be perfectly safe. But yeah, it may not be the healthiest product that you eat.
Got it. Okay. So, what kind of food do you usually work with? Is it mostly packaged food, or you also work with produce that comes from the farm as well?
So we start, I think, at post-harvest, which basically means after you harvested the food, put it in a storage. So we kind of start from there. And from there onwards to processing. So it could be primary processing, like converting paddy into rice.
Okay.
It could be then converting rice into beaten rice.
Okay.
And then from beaten rice into poha that you eat.
Okay.
You could freeze dry that poha and make it into a packaged product. And you could be selling it to retail. And it could then come to your house and you will put water back into it, reconstitute and eat it. So we have a role to play in every part, storage, processing, and hazards could be introduced at any of these steps. If you don't store it properly, you could end up with contaminating your paddy or your rice, or when you process it into poha, you could end up contaminating the product, or when you are cooking, manufacturing. So every node in the supply chain is a potential to contaminate the product. And the regulations or the systems and processes have to ensure that it doesn't happen.
So what you do is you help companies who are conscious of ensuring that their food is safe. You help them build the right processes and systems so that they are free from those three methods that you mentioned, right?
Yes. Yes. So putting control systems in place, checking on all of the things that can contribute. So there is the basic principle called HACCP, or Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points.
Okay.
It started with sending food to space. So that is the origin of HACCP, where it was important that the food that went with the astronauts was safe.
Got it.
So it started there, where what you do is you put every source of potential contamination, and then you do a risk evaluation, saying what is the likelihood of this happening, and if it is happening, then what is your control on it? How do you eliminate that hazard, or how do you control the hazard? So it goes through a systematic process of evaluation, and either you can control the hazard from entering into the process, or you'll have to find a way to remove that hazard if you suspect that there is contamination in it, and then putting a control, so putting a monitoring system, so that you are verifying that this is happening or this is not happening, or making sure that food finally that gets out of your gate is safe.